And welcome into another episode of Dan Tony Sports. My name is Dan Snyder, joined tonight by Dan O'Shea and Dan Beebe, the Three Dan Band. We are back together. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
Good. Good. Now we're finally getting to the AFC East.
And that's our show for tonight. Thank you. Yes, you are correct. We are finally getting around to the AFC, the awful football conference, as I like to call it.
Oh, yes. Your conference is so good.
Super Bowl champs are in the NFC, that's all I'm saying. Anyways, tonight we're going to be talking AFC East. That is correct. We're talking Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots. And I got to say, don't want to give too much away, but I think that this is by far the best drafted division in football.
I would tend to lean that way as well. I think I was kind of disappointed that no one did poorly, and I was very happy with the Jets' decision making this year, and ready to dive in.
That being said, let's not wait too long, because I'm really excited for a lot of the picks that we're going to talk about. So we'll start, like I said, Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots, alphabetical order. Right from the get-go, pick number 30 in the first round, defensive end Greg Rousseau. Dude's a monster. Like, if you haven't seen him play, he's a monster. Like, I think he is legitimately Sully from Monsters, Inc. The dude is scary. He's so big, so fast. Like, he hasn't been playing football very long and got, 16 and a half sacks this past season. Like, what? Like, dude's nuts.
I think we talked a little bit about this when we were talking about the Saints picking a much worse player over him, and then he fell to the Bills, and just a great pick. Great pick.
Yeah.
They were already a 13-win team last year, playoff team, looking like a real contender, and they just added to that contending team with most of these picks.
And going on to the next pick, they also appear to seem like they have a real pass rush problem, because with their second round pick, they drafted defensive end Boogie Basham. Then third round, they went offensive tackle Spencer Brown. Fifth round, they went offensive tackle Tommy Doyle. Sixth round, they drafted three players in the sixth round: wide receiver Marquez Stevenson, safety DeMar Hamlin, cornerback Rashad Wildgoose. Which, is there a better name in the draft than Wildgoose?
Wildgoose, love that. It's a great name.
Like, they got Basham and a Wildgoose on the same team in the same draft. And then round 7, they pick guard Jack Anderson. We have a Bills fan on the show, so why don't we let him speak his mind about the Bills draft before we, go into the depth that we normally do. Dan Beebe, this Bills draft, what do you think of the Bills draft?
Happy with all of it.
Yeah, there's really not much more you need to say. They
get the missing pieces, come back even stronger.
Seriously, they solidified their pass rush. They worked on getting the pass block. Would I have liked them to maybe go away from Boogie Basham and get an offensive tackle there? Probably, because they do have good running backs, and for whatever reason, the Bears, oh my God, the Bills, the Bills seem to be afraid to run the ball, even though they've got two very, very capable, solid running backs in Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. Now, the tackle is typically more expected to be a pass blocker, and the guards are typically more of a run blocker, where their strengths are. But any offensive line help that will let the Bills see what Devin Singletary, especially Devin Singletary, can do, and Zach Moss as well, I think that's a win for the team. Then they go get wide receiver Marquez Stevenson. That's a bit of a, late round pick, kind of like we've addressed what we needed to, so what are we going to do now? And wide receivers seem to tend to be a good pick in the late rounds, because even if they're not going to be a big part of your offense, a lot of kickoff teams are skills positions, so a lot of wide receivers are on those kickoff teams, kick return teams the same way, so they play a lot of a bigger role in special teams, do wide receivers than normally people would think. But they really didn't need Marquez Stevenson. They really didn't need DeMar Hamlin. They definitely didn't need Rashad Wildgoose, although I'm glad they took him.
Just for the name.
Yeah, and then guard Jack Anderson, probably not even going to make the team, honestly. But top to bottom, solid draft. I don't have any picks I don't like, except maybe I'd rather they have addressed offensive tackle a little earlier. But overall,
their biggest need that they felt, I think, was an elite pass rusher. They've had a fantastic D-line, but they've never had that real elite pass rusher since, re-becoming a contending team.
Now since Mario Williams, right?
So with Greg Rousseau and Carlos Basham, one of those guys is almost certainly going to be that guy for them. That's two. They're spending a lot, but then they're spending everything in the first few picks just all in the trenches, which I have to respect. I'm a big believer that you build your team in the trenches, and they could have gone for a lineman there, but Basham fell to 61, which I think was a fine pick. So then they readdressed with Brown and Doyle. I think one out of those two, one of those might be a future starter, one might just be a depth guy, and then some dart throws in the sixth with Stevenson and Hamlin and Wild Goose. Stevenson had a bad injury history, right? That was like why he fell.
He's not like the greatest wide receiver. I definitely don't think I would have taken him before the 5th round. But
right. I think it was those were still solid picks. Who know? And Jack Anderson the 7th, 236. Who freaking knows at that point what you're getting? But Hamlin and Wild Goose they've got strong safeties and corners, so you're hoping those guys can learn and have the raw athletics. So they just need some refinement. Just a really, really solid draft by the Bills. That I think they're going to be even better this year. And I hate to say that because obviously they're in the division.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So grades. Not the greatest draft. Definitely a good draft. I'd say solid A- to an A. Definitely not an A+, but A-. We'll go A because I like them.
I had B+, A-, so I had A. Just right there.
All right, so we got 2 A's and a B+, A-. Now we're going to move on to the Miami Dolphins. And what a draft this team had as well. I know a lot of Dolphins fans were not happy with their first round picks. And I just don't understand it. I don't understand.
Jalen attorneys at law. What do you mean?
Yeah, they got Jalen, Jaylen Waddle, and Jalen, Jaelan Phillips. In the first round. They're both very solid. And then they go similar name in round 2, Javon Holland. Your safety from Oregon there. He's definitely a quality player. Addresses a need. Yeah. Then the second round, Liam Eichenberg, tackle from Notre Dame. I feel like they should have done more at this point to address running back, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Then Hunter Long, the tight end from Boston College, round 3. And then they fall all the way to round 7. And they grab Larnell Coleman from UMass Amherst, the tackle. And then they finally draft a running back. But it's Jared Dokes from Cincinnati. And they drafted him in the second half of the 7th round. So, things I liked. Jalen, awesome. Javon Holland, good pick. Where's the running back? Is Myles Gaskin going to be your guy? I don't think that is the case. So I do have a little bit of an issue with this draft because, like I said, as much as I like Jalen Phillips, you have Travis Etienne on the board, you have Najee Harris on the board. How do you let one of those two go when it's a need? You don't need a receiver. You got the quarterback of the future, you think. Your offensive line is on its way. Your defense is getting better and better every game last season. Where's the running game? That's my biggest issue.
I tend to disagree. I think running backs are more of a luxury item when you've got one that's decent. And Gaskin showed that he's pretty solid. And they obviously added to the line a little bit again. Notre Dame and offensive linemen are, pretty solid. I think Phillips is going to be really good. I think they reached on Holland a little bit, even as an Oregon fan, and I like him. I think maybe that's where they could have addressed that and maybe been traded back a little bit and still gotten him. I think he would have fallen to, later in the second. Don't love the Hunter Long pick, kind of whatever, definitely not a need.
Not with Mike Gesicki, yeah.
Trying to kind of dart throws.
I mean, that's even third round, so you could have got a quality running back there.
Yeah, that's where I think they should have possibly addressed it. And I mean, you are correct that they don't really. They're shoring up their team for sure, and they don't have many major needs left if Tua works out, which as a Jets fan, I hope not, but as a dynasty owner for Tua, I hope. So I'm very torn. Other than that, pretty solid. I think they'll go hard for a running back next year and kind of see what they have this year and see if they're building a contender or not. And,
honestly, there are things that they can do. Todd Gurley's still not signed. Boom, Todd Gurley. As you sign him. Like, what are you waiting for? Gaskin, yeah, okay, good, not great. Todd Gurley, instant upgrade. Xavier Howard wants out. Not that I want this, but